Have you ever thought about the possibility of knowing something without using the five traditional senses? Picture this. You're thinking about someone, and suddenly they call. Or perhaps you've had a gut feeling about an event that later turned out to be true. Is it coincidence or something more? Enter the world of extrasensory perception, or ESP, as it's commonly known. ESP is a concept that has intrigued, baffled, and divided people for decades. It's the idea that information can be perceived without the need for our five senses: sight, hearing, smell, taste, and touch. It's about the sixth sense, the notion of a deeper, almost mystical ability to understand and perceive things that are not immediately apparent or accessible to our known sensory processes. Now, ESP is not a one-size-fits-all kind of concept. It's an umbrella term encompassing several phenomena. There's telepathy, the transfer of thoughts or emotions between individuals without the use of the five traditional senses. Then we have clairvoyance, the ability to gain information about an object, person, location, or event through means other than the known human senses. And let's not forget precognition, the ability to perceive or predict future events. The existence of ESP, however, has been a topic of heated debate. On one hand, there are those who vehemently deny its existence, dismissing it as pseudoscience. They argue that there's no empirical evidence supporting the claims made about ESP. It's merely a product of chance, they say, or the result of cognitive biases, where people remember hits and forget misses. On the other hand, there are those who believe in it, often citing personal experiences or anecdotal evidence. They argue that the human mind is capable of more than what we currently understand, and the phenomena associated with ESP might just be a part of those unexplored territories. So, is ESP a reality or a figment of the human imagination? Let's delve deeper into this intriguing subject. ESP is not just one phenomenon, but a combination of various unexplained abilities. Let's start with telepathy, often described as mind-to-mind communication. Imagine sitting in a room and suddenly you have an urge to call your best friend. You pick up your phone and to your surprise, your friend is already calling you. Is it just a coincidence, or could it be a telepathic connection? Next, we have clairvoyance, the ability to gain information about an object, person, location, or event through means other than the known human senses. Picture this. You're in your house and you feel a sudden urge to check on your car parked outside. When you do, you discover a flat tire. Is it mere intuition or a case of clairvoyance? Lastly, there's precognition, the apparent ability to predict future events. Have you ever had a dream about an event that later happened in real life? Or a strong gut feeling that something is about to occur and then it does? These instances might be chalked up to precognition. Now, the scientific community has been intrigued by these phenomena for over a century. In the late 19th century, experiments began to investigate these abilities, often involving card guessing. Under controlled conditions, subjects would attempt to guess the symbols on cards hidden from their view. If they achieved a better-than-chance percentage of correct calls over a significant number of trials, this was taken as evidence of ESP. However, the results of these experiments have been hotly debated. Some scientists are skeptical, pointing to the lack of a physical explanation for ESP. Others, however, argue that these phenomena can't be entirely dismissed, given the numerous accounts of individuals claiming to have experienced them firsthand. While these phenomena may seem out of the ordinary, many people claim to have experienced them. But what does science say? Let's take a look at what science has to say about ESP. There's an ongoing debate within the scientific community about the existence of extrasensory perception, or ESP. While some scientists remain skeptical, others are intrigued by the potential of unexplained cognitive abilities. The challenge lies in finding a reliable way to test for ESP, which is where things get interesting. Back in the late 19th century, when scientific investigations into ESP began, the method of choice was card guessing experiments. The experiment would involve subjects attempting to guess the symbols on cards hidden from their view under controlled conditions. The idea was that if the subjects could consistently guess the symbols correctly at a rate better than chance, it could indicate the presence of ESP. Now you may be wondering, how can we be sure this isn't just luck? Well, that's where statistical significance comes into play. In these experiments, a better than chance percentage doesn't mean just a few correct guesses. No, in order for the results to be considered statistically significant, the subjects would need to guess correctly a substantial number of times over a significant number of trials. But here's the catch. While some experiments have shown promising results, they often fail to be replicated under different conditions or by other researchers. This inconsistency has fueled skepticism among many scientists. They argue that the experiments may be flawed or that the results could be attributed to other factors such as subconscious cues or simple probability. On the other hand, believers in ESP argue that these abilities are real, but elusive and difficult to capture in a laboratory setting. Some even suggest that our understanding of the mind and its capabilities is still in its infancy, and therefore we should keep an open mind about phenomena like ESP. As you can see, the scientific community is divided when it comes to ESP, but what about people who claim to possess these abilities? Now, let's shift our focus to those who claim to possess ESP abilities. In the realm of the unexplained, there are numerous accounts of individuals who purport to have extrasensory perception, or ESP. These individuals often find themselves in situations where their unique abilities are called upon to solve real-life mysteries, like searching for missing persons. Take, for instance, the case of a woman named Noreen Renier. Renier, a self-proclaimed psychic detective, has reportedly assisted in over 400 police investigations. She claims to have used her ESP abilities to provide vital clues that have led to the discovery of missing persons. In one remarkable case, Renier reportedly provided police with accurate details about a missing plane's location, despite having no prior knowledge of the aircraft or its flight path. On the other hand, not all instances of ESP in action are successful. There are numerous instances where psychics have been called upon to assist in high-profile cases, only to provide information that ultimately led investigators down the wrong path. In one notorious case, a psychic claimed to have information about the location of a missing child, but the search based on her claims proved fruitless. Critics argue that these unsuccessful instances cast doubt on the legitimacy of claimed ESP abilities. However, it's important to remember that the field of ESP is filled with gray areas. While some instances seem to provide compelling evidence of these abilities, others serve as reminders of the skepticism that surrounds this phenomenon. The question remains, are these successful instances proof of the existence of ESP, or are they simply coincidences? In the end, the use of ESP in real-life situations like searching for missing persons is a controversial topic. It's a field where success can be lauded as proof of the unexplainable, and failure can be used as evidence against the existence of such abilities. These instances of ESP in action further deepen the mystery of this phenomenon. So, where does this leave us? As we reach the end of our exploration, let's summarize what we have learned about extrasensory perception, or ESP. This fascinating concept refers to perception that occurs independently of the known sensory processes. It's a profound mystery, an enigma that has intrigued and baffled us for centuries. Within ESP, we have three main types: telepathy, clairvoyance, and precognition. Telepathy deals with thought transference between individuals. Clairvoyance involves supernormal awareness of objects or events unknown to others. And precognition, perhaps the most intriguing of them all, is the ability to foresee the future. These are not your everyday occurrences, yet they're reported and experienced by many. Scientific investigations into ESP have been ongoing since the late 19th century. The most supporting evidence comes from experiments involving card guessing. Here, subjects attempt to guess the symbols of cards hidden from their view under controlled conditions. If they manage to guess correctly better than chance on a statistically significant number of trials, it's considered evidence of ESP. Then, we have real-life instances of ESP. Stories abound of individuals who claim to possess these abilities, and some of them have even been used by investigative teams searching for missing persons or things. These instances, although anecdotal, add to the intrigue of ESP. But it's not all black and white. The existence of ESP is still a hot topic of debate. Many scientists remain skeptical, citing lack of solid evidence or the inability to reproduce these phenomena under controlled conditions. Others argue that our understanding of the human mind and its capabilities is still limited. and that ESP could very well be a part of it. While the existence of ESP remains a topic of debate, it certainly adds a layer of mystery to our understanding of human abilities. Until next time, keep exploring the unexplained.